Welcome to Subramani. Whenever youngsters talk to you about retirement, I'm sure they talk to you like once you retire, this is what you should be doing with your money, right? Unfortunately or fortunately, unless you have dealt with retirees, you don't understand that retirement is not just one big word. It's like saying in your young age, this is what you should do. Now, young at 20, young at 30, young at 40, young at 50 and young at 55 can be very different in what types of goals you have and what you want your portfolio to do and what your portfolio should do for you, right? So let us talk of retirement also in 3-4 stages at least. So one is the pre-retirement stage, 50 to 60. You have always been saving for retirement, right? From maybe age of 22. You were a very good boy and you started saving at the age of 22, 32, whatever age it is. By the time you're 50, you are more able to quantify how much you will need for retirement. Reasonably, you will obviously be dramatically wrong. You'll realize that by the time you're 70, but still you will have a reasonable number. Let's say you're 50 years of age and you think a reasonable number for your retirement is about $1 million, which is say 8 crores. Well, you have about 4.5 crores already with you by the time you're 50 and you mark for your retirement, you know you're going to contribute, you know it's going to grow and you're very clear that you will reach that level by the time you're 60. So 50 to 60 is the time when you are thinking of what will you do in retirement, what will be your hobbies, which are the friends with whom you want to grow old. Believe me, you keep to have a long list of people. Some of them may leave you, you may leave some of them. So let's say you're a couple, both of you, I'm assuming for a minute that both of you are in your 50s. So you start planning that in your 60s you will do this, you will do that, and right then. So at 50 you don't go and buy a senior citizen home. I see a lot of people doing that. Don't be in a hurry. You need a senior citizen home only when you're 70 plus or 72, 75. I put that range as 70 to 75. So for this video purposes, we will say it is 75. So you don't need. So at 50, you start marketing. Perhaps you start shopping. You find out what your seniors are doing. If you are the eldest in the house and you have a large joint family, see what your uncles, aunts, parents have done. For example, my parents bought a senior citizen home in Pune, and they were very happy. My mother is still there. My mother is 84 and she's still there living by herself, and she's very happy living there. And very clearly, I did not send her there. She went there, right? So she went there and I keep visiting her. It's not as though we are fighting or something like that. There is enough space in my house for her to stay, but she's made the choice and she's living there by choice. And similarly, I will also be living perhaps in Pune itself or somewhere else, depending on how my body adjusts. So so at 50, you just start planning. You say, okay, I'll put so much money in an annuity, I'll put so much money in mutual funds, I'll keep some money in bank fixed deposits, some money in liquid fund, this is the medical insurance I take, right? Start doing all that and maybe start doing your documentation. A few days ago, I spoke about something called a death file, which will note down all your making your will, right? Keeping all, and you're still too young to be making a will at 50, in the sense that make a will and get it notarized. Don't have to get it registered. By the time you're say 80 and you make a will, get it notarized and get it registered, because at the age of say 85, you may not end up buying another property after that, or there may not be any great addition or deletion from your family. So when you say make it, when you in your will, you don't just say to my son, you say my son, his wife, his legal heir, his daughter or son or whatever, so that your grandchildren, everybody is covered. Because after you make your will, if there is some deletion in the family or addition to the family, you cover that also. You say my daughter-in-law and or her husband and her children, you just cover everybody, so that whenever you die, if they are there, fine. If they are not there, that's also okay, right? So the words will have to be very careful. But at 50, you need a will so that the property goes to your wife or to your children, whatever, as you wish. But a will is necessary and notarizing it is necessary, but nothing much more than that. But this is a time when you're planning to have an advisor. Please remember, I will do another video saying the retirement planning is something like climbing a mountain and descending, right? Accumulation phase and decumulation phase, withdrawal phase. The accumulation, if you think, is difficult, withdrawal is far more difficult. How much should you have in an annuity? What should be a mutual fund? Should you do systematic withdrawal? How should you do it? When should you do it? What will be the capital gains? Who should file the tax returns? How will you keep the details? How much will you share with your children about the details? Will you make your children a nominee, or will you make the children the co-owner, right? What happens if one of you becomes single? If you die, will your spouse make your child the co-owner? What are the rules for making the co-owner, right? So all those things you will think about, talk, speak to your children. If both your children are abroad, then you behave differently. If one child is 100 kilometers away and another child is 3000 kilometers away, you will behave differently, because you know in an emergency this is the kid who is going to handle your property and things like that. So this kid will you have to have some fixed deposit in the name of yourself and that kid, so that that kid can go and withdraw from the bank in case of an emergency, right? So how you deal with all those things, you will think, apply your mind, sit with your family, either write down or at least discuss, and be ready for the eventuality that one day you will be separate, one day you will be single, and those kind of things, being prepared for it. That's what you will do from 50 to 60. Let us say at 60 you actually retire, and 60 to 70 is going to be a very active phase. I mean, I'm sure it's going to be a very active phase for you also. This is the time when you want to travel with your friends. You want to maybe go to Tadoba with a classmate. Maybe you want to go to Greece. Maybe you want to go to Spain. Maybe you want to go to the US. Maybe Australia. You got a friend settled in Australia, one friend settled in US, and 2 friends in Europe. Great. All your life plans of visiting all of them will be taken care of, right? So, or you could just go with your friends on a tour to various parts of the world or various parts of the country. Maybe you go to Goa, maybe you go to Himachal Pradesh, maybe you go to maybe you go to the northeast, whatever. So you will be planning all that, you will be doing all that, and if you are feeling rich enough, you will be taking a little more luxurious. एक इनो में 4 लोग बैठेंगे, नहीं 3 लोग ही बैठेंगे, right? So that even that could be luxurious, right? Or you could be staying in very good hotels, saying I want to get pampered a little, I didn't spend all my life, I didn't spend, so let me spend money, right? So India is a great place to be pampered, because our expensive hotels are also cheaper compared to what you will spend abroad. So depending on what you want to do. So 60 to 70 is the time when you start withdrawing from your money, when you are active, you know what is happening in the equity market. So if the equity markets are booming, it will be booming sometime when you are, say, 60 to 70. It's a great time to be taking a vacation, buying expensive gifts, maybe for your son-in-law, daughter-in-law, whatever, right? Grandchildren, promising your grandchildren that I will fund your Ivy League education. There are things like that. So you want to feel rich. 60 to 70 is what you will do that. By the time you're 69, 70, your body is also a little tired. You don't want to travel too much. Maybe you will come to only some compulsory travel, some death or family, marriage or things like that. Or everybody getting around for friend's daughter's wedding or friend's something like that. I mean, friend's daughter's wedding is all over by the time you're 70. But could be somebody, younger cousin's daughter's wedding or things like that. So you could be going for those kind of things. That is the time when you want your portfolio to be reasonably well kept, and it should now be giving you more stability. You don't want too much of fluctuation. A 20% fall in the market should not be bothering you, because 70% of your money is already into annuities, fixed deposits, and long-term gilt funds and things like that. So your portfolio needs that alteration. By the time that is the time also when you're moving into a senior citizen gated community. I think 70 is a great cutoff year when you move into a gated community, because this is the time when you could be starting to hit by dementia. Now think of this. If you have dementia and you're the man, it's a nightmare for your wife. She will not be able to look after you, have a bath, cook, look after you, and attend the door because of your dementia. She's afraid that you'll open the door, walk out and go away, and your security guard may not be good enough. This is a good time to be moving to a senior citizen home and living in a senior citizen. So 70 to 90 or 75 to 90 or 85 is 75 to 85 is a good time to be living in a senior citizen home, where you will get aided living, where the security guard knows you, everybody knows you, knows your husband, knows your wife. You carry your card with you, so that even if you were to get lost within the gated community, somebody will bring you back home. You're not worried about those things. You need somebody who will come to your house, give you a bath, give you a shave, right? Those kind of things. You could get help for 2 hours, 3 hours. That's a very great thing. And at the age of 85, you move into geriatric care, because your spouse may not be able to take care of you. People don't understand this, but this is the time when your portfolio has to be very simple. Age of 85 or 84, 85, this is the age when you want to move into a geriatric care. Your portfolio also has to move into a very safe bank fixed deposit, annuity, and if you have a lot of money, maybe one index fund. Nothing beyond that. You don't need anything beyond that. If you have a lot of money, then that's great. So what happens is the annuity comes to you on a particular date. The bank deposit you can withdraw whenever you want. The bank fixed deposit it's credited to your account whenever you want. You can withdraw with an ATM. There may be a relationship manager. It happens at least for my mother. The relationship manager comes home on every one fixed day of the week and asks her how much money she wants. He takes the check, goes and gives her the check. She doesn't even have to go to the ATM. Almost all the payments are done online, right? So the need for cash is dramatically reduced. Now, having done all this, you can always simplify your portfolio. You have done all that. You are now living in geriatric care. In case one of you fall down, break a leg or something, the other person has the ability to react. Or at least there are emergency bells inside the house, not just phones, which you can just press a button and you can call for help. Now, these kind of help you need, it is available, and please go and shift and live there. Your children cannot create that kind of infrastructure inside the house. The kind of infrastructure that my mother has in her senior citizen home in Atashri in Pune, sorry, in phase 1, she bought it in the phase 1 when it was constructed, which is about 21 years ago. Right, maybe 1999 or 2000 when she bought it. Right, when my father bought it, actually, it was a brilliant move. I mean, at that time I did not know whether it was a great move, but in retrospect, it is a brilliant move. Amazing infrastructure. Somebody is available. Somebody will come clean the vessels, clean the floor, and I can always call that person and say, make sure that the gas is switched off in case of an emergency. My sister handles all those things for my mother. So making the payments for the telephone or the society charges, etc. All that is done online. I think it's amazing. You need that. When do you need it? Maybe you need it at 84, 85, and you have a canteen where you can eat. My mother cooks and eats, but if I were living there, I would perhaps be buying the food. Right, so all these facilities you need, and if you have money, why not, right? So it's not very expensive. Maybe it costs about 30K per month per person, including the food. It obviously costs my mom much lesser because she cooks the food herself and she owns the place. You make those choices, and that is the stage when your portfolio goes into completely annuity and fixed deposit mode. What has it happened for my mother? My mother is 100% in equity, or well, more or less there, because I'm looking after it. But if my mother had to look after it herself, I would just put everything in the bank fixed deposits and say, look, this is the amount of interest that you will get. You will get 45,000-50,000 rupees per month. Your expenses are 30,000 per month, and life is great, right? This is how it would be. So many stages of your life. Your portfolio also has to make sure that it is adjusting. And I would always advise a person who is a senior citizen that even in your ascending to the retirement mountain, if you did not seek the help of a advisor while coming down, which is far more difficult, it is better to come down with the help of an investment advisor. My mother's portfolio gets advised by me, but my own portfolio gets advised by an advisor. So please understand that it is necessary at every stage somebody should be looking after your portfolio other than just you, right? Thank you.